Alright, so, Hyon, just don't kill us. Let's talk about this map. So, setup time. Boring stuff.
Zero, you should give me that.
I'm gonna
shoes
ask
are
that you
better.
guys, like, stay focused, for this. This is a new map for everyone. So, there's gonna be a lot of
We've played
stuff
it
that's
before.
kinda different. This is a kinda weird payload map in a lot of ways, so.
Hey guys, check it out. My Kunar is signed by Stabby.
Anyway, so here's the map review for Vigil. This is Vigil B5, which is the version that people are going to play. Older versions of Vigil just had a shit ton of problems, and this one does too, but that's beside the point. Right off the bat, you can see that there's 3 main routes to go out of spawn. There's main, there's far left, and there's far right. There aren't other doors beside that, so typically you never want to roll your combo out through main, really, but if you do, it's actually not that bad, because pretty much out of every spawn you go out of as blue, you have cover, or some sort of cover. The most exposed spawn exit is far left, because as you get out of far left, you have a huge sniper sightline watching you, and it's also farthest away from the other team, or from where the other team is expected to hold, which means that they're probably going to see you and they're probably going to react to your combo if you roll out far left. Main, you're covered by this little shack in the middle, so you're pretty safe from sight lines at least. However, notice how enclosed this area is. The reason you don't really want to push out through here is because this is a very easy area to spam. There's just so many walls around you that a soldier or a demo can get a lot of work done. So unless you know you can deal with those 2 classes, you probably shouldn't roll out through there. And far right is a pretty viable option. However, if you're rolling far right, you better be committed to taking a flank route with your combo, because if you don't take a flank route with your combo, then you're literally just out of the way of your objective and the other team. Both things that you basically need to get to quickly, right off the bat when the gate opens, are really far away from you. So if you're rolling right, make sure that you have some sort of strategy to have your combo loop around, or have your combo come down through this drop down. So the first place we're going to talk about on this first point is the far right rollout, actually, because this is probably the thing you're going to do second most often, and it might even be the thing you're probably most likely going to do on second half or on third half if your match goes that long. The reason being is that far right push is it's not necessarily considered conventional. From all the demos that I've looked at and from the teams that I've seen play on this match, I think I've only ever seen 2 teams ever roll far right, and that was literally just to push a combo out of a forward position. So people, basically what I'm getting at with that is that the other team won't expect it. So let's say you go far right off the bat. Let me get rid of this view model just so people can see the screen more off of the recording. But let's say you push far right. You have a few options. You can drop down onto their combo if they're in this crevice here. You can drop down here and get at their combo from behind through this door, as you can see there. Or you can drop down this way and take the flank route around. Their sentry is probably going to be somewhere up here, so you'll be close to being able to spam that sentry. Besides the combo going through far right, most of the time, like about 80% of the time, you want your flank to try and take control of this. There's a lot of elevation on far right, and that's just very easy for the scout and the soldier to take advantage of. Also, their flank is typically going to watch in this area as well. I don't think I've seen a single team that didn't have their flank around here, except for us that one time. I don't know why we did that. Either way, so there's the far right hold. Also, you can start capping the cart. Or the far right push, rather. Now, far left is the other way that teams tends to roll their combo out. The reason being is, well, that sight line that I was talking about, a sniper watching your combo through, turns out it works both ways. So your sniper can use the far left to get some initial picks if their demo's in that area, or if their demo's up on that hill, or if their combo's basically watching anywhere in this area that can spam the card out. So the sniper rolls out far left first, and make sure he gets a buff. That's typically what happens. If your team sniper doesn't see the enemy sniper, and there's no sign of the enemy sniper, or if someone spots the enemy sniper somewhere else, then it's basically safe for your whole combo to just roll out. However, I don't recommend that you fear the sniper too much on this initial rollout, just because there is a lot of cover on this map, like I was talking about. If you come out of this left side, you can immediately run behind this rock, and really, a sniper shouldn't be too big of a threat initially coming out. Now, things to take advantage of as your combo's pushing up are this hill right here. This hill is extremely important because it gives you the high ground, and if their combo's watching in this crevasse, then you can basically just spam down on them with your demo for free, drop your heavy down on them, and it's just a good place to push from. Also, sentries tend to be placed up on here. Oh, sorry about that. Sentries are placed up on here, and that means that if you're pushing from this upper area, you can get at the sentry pretty easily as well. Whereas pushing from, let's say, this middle place, not only are you going to get easily spammed out because of all the walls surrounding you, but once you cross this angle, basically the sentry is going to be on your entire combo, and it's just going to be that much more difficult to push out. Not to mention, it's a lot easier for a pyro to stuff you back if you don't have the high ground like you would if you're standing up there. Now let's briefly talk about defense. That's most of what you need to know for pushes. Pushes off of first aren't too complicated. Basically, if left push doesn't work out, you just rotate your combo to the right side, and that tends to work. If there's any complication beyond that, then you're just lacking some coordination with your team. Your flank should always try pushing from the other direction whenever your combo's pushing on this map. At least on first point, there's pretty much two directions you can go. You can either go far left or far right, and then going straight down the middle will get you spammed out. Okay, so defending. As I said, a good sentry spot is up on there, but something that's worked in the past for our team, and I've seen work for a few other teams, is having the sentry a little more passive and like back here. This works out well if your flank is doing a good job on the flank side up there. If your flank can secure the flank route on their own, then by all means move the sentry like a little back and just place it right here, because that'll allow the sentry to deny any of the combo members who are coming up above the hill. You can even pull a sentry back here somewhere, but basically it will prevent surprises if the combo comes in on you over the hill, and as long as the flank continues to watch far left side for the defending team securely, then there should be really no problem. Besides that, everything else is pretty self-explanatory. The combo, typically they can watch back here, or if they're having a pretty easy time at spamming out the team, like if it's a team that is very aggro, then the combo can actually... Well, okay, let me rephrase that because I almost said it incorrectly. If the team is very aggro, you want to watch like back here, because they're going to walk into this choke or onto that hill inevitably, and if you're watching from back here, you'll see it ahead of time and be able to spam out their combo. You just have to call out, okay, they're in there, they're in there. Ultra, you can start capping again. Can we have ×1 on it, please? Anyway, as I was saying, if they're not aggro, if the other team's very passive, then the combo, you can take the liberty and watch closer up to here. The only thing you need to be wary of is up there. If their team drops down from up there, then you're going to have a hard time. Just make sure you have your flank watching the flank route very closely and have them call if this happens. But if the combo's this pushed up, then the flank basically has free reign to be up there, watching from up here. So if the flank is constantly up here and the combo is constantly pushed up to here, then there should be no surprises and almost no problems. The only problem that usually comes up is this sniper sight line right down the middle. If you have your combo hovering around this area, then he can just peek, and that can become an issue. But it doesn't typically become an issue, at least from our forward holds and from the forward holds I've seen other teams pull off. So keep that in mind. Now, second point. Pushing second point, you basically have a couple of options. You can either push straight up this hill, or you can push through tunnel. Now, if you're pushing through tunnel, it's important to not focus too much on trying to push through his flank route. This flank route is very choky. It's very constrained, and unless your team is, or unless their team is ignoring it, your combo is going to have a very hard time pushing it. So, when you're pushing through tunnel, try and keep an eye on the flank route so that they don't get behind you. But ultimately, you want to get out through the main tunnel entrance. Most teams that I've seen on this map don't actually spam out the combo until you've rounded the corner, because until you've rounded this rock right here, you don't have a lot of visibility, or in other words, the other team can't see your combo pushing out through tunnel. So they don't expect it to happen usually. If they do call your combo coming out through tunnel, they still probably won't do it, because spamming you back behind that rock would require them, if they're holding up on this hill, to actually either drop down to have an effective spam, or to get out of position and be flanked around. And no team wants to get out of position to do that, so typically what a team will do to counter is rotate around this shed right here and try and spam you from this side, which, again, isn't easily spammed until you really round this rock. This rock is a pretty effective barrier against spam, at least until you get to about there. Now, that's pushing through tunnel. The other push that I've seen is, as I said, this hill. The hill push needs to happen quickly, because if it's not happening quickly, this is a lot of land to traverse for your combo. And in the time you're traversing it, not only is your combo going to get called out, there's probably going to be a lot of spam and a lot of sniper focus. So if you're going to push over the hill, you need to get across it before you're spammed out. Make sure your team can get across it, and make sure that their teammates aren't already pushed up forward and looking at hill, or you're going to have a very hard time. Now, let's see. The setup for defense is typically you have your flank watching this tunnel, and oftentimes even pushing onto their team from the tunnel. I believe, yes, this drop down here opens up once you cap second. So as you can see, Soldier can easily maneuver in and out of the drop down, dropping down from first down into here, which is why flank typically watches this, because their flank, or rather pushing flank, can come down through this drop down and then immediately have position in tunnel. So if you're defending, make sure that no one drops down, and make sure that the car can't get past this point. Yeah, you guys can start capping. As for the combo I like to place typically on this hill, just because that allows our sniper to stand here and watch down this sight line. This is a very good sight line for sniper on this point, and there aren't that many other good sidelines, to be honest. Once they round this rock with the cart, the sniper can take a more passive position back here, and that allows him a lot of space as well. But that's once they push the cart quite a distance. Now, the rest of the combo, the medic is going to typically be tucked back into here, so that he can have easy access to leave through the shutter or leave elsewhere. The demo is going to be able to spam this hill very effectively, and from this hill, if the combo decides to push through the tunnel, he can rotate and spam down onto the cart. And the heavy just supports the whole thing by being around this area, making sure that nothing jumps onto the demo. For some reason, almost every single team I've seen play this map takes their soldier in through this area and jumps him from here onto the medic, which honestly doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because the soldier pretty much dies every single time. Maybe it would be a more effective strategy if the heavy wasn't there, but since we've had our heavy there, nothing's happened. So keep your heavy close to the demo. He doesn't need to be hovering over him. And of course, heavy can rotate and watch this side of the card as well, or rotate and watch tunnel as well. I've found that one of either the heavy or the demo should rotate to help tunnel if flank is having a really hard time, but not both, because if we lose both of our combo members, sniper just dies and their team pushes in. So let's talk about third push. So pushing into this third point, there really is only one good option that I've seen. I have yet to see an option that works better for any team. And that is just pushing through this area, this wooden area here that I'm in right now. This I refer to as garage, just because there's so many garage doors and it's very spacious. Of course, you can still refer to it as flank or whatever, but basically, pushing your combo into the garage, it's open enough to where you can get some space before their combo spams you out, but it's also close enough to where once you spawn, you can get here relatively quickly. So it's a pretty good place to push from, and in the event that well, I'll get into that once we talk about defense. But basically, you push in through here, and you don't ever want to go past this. Because if you decide to push your combo in past that entrance to here to get behind their team, it's very, very easy for their players to get behind you. And that's a definite no-no in this area. It makes it so they can just spam you out incredibly easily. So when you're pushing with your combo, push through here. Things to watch out for, though, are just the demo spam and the sniper spam. Or sniper sightline. The demo spam can be taken care of in this area very easily by a pyro. Now that leaves your behinds open to the spy, and this area has enough varied elevation for a spy to take good advantage of it. There's also a lot of angles. So really, your big concerns are the sniper and the spy. Just run your sniper here, take care of their sniper, and just spy check when you're running in through here. Honestly, it is a crap space with a lot of angles, so the spy might just decloak on you suddenly. So while you're moving forward, have your pyro spy check the corners and stuff. But once the demo's in range, the pyro can focus on spam, and then the rest of the combo members can get a little more aware, and the spy typically hasn't been a problem for our team. At least trying that out. So we'll try that out, and in scrims we'll see how well that works, and we'll adjust the strategy accordingly. Now, can we... Yeah, you guys are pushing. Okay, so the only other real push into this area is through down here. And the reason that's an awful idea is because the hold is up on that hill, and this is just... It's a giant choke, and it's not... What's this called? It's not higher ground. Upper ground? High ground, that's what it is. It's not high ground, you're on the low ground. So it's very easy to get spam from a demo who's standing up there. A sniper can just, like, hard scope down this area. Pushing through main is a very, very bad idea. So as I was saying, if flank is fast enough and their combo is distracted enough to stop, or to look at our combo, rather, then the flank can go ahead and get in through this route. And getting in through here, as you can see, a scout can easily jump up there, a soldier can easily jump up, and you're behind their team immediately. This is pretty much... I mean, a lot of teams will watch this closely, so you have to be very careful, but if a team isn't watching, it's a very sneaky way to get behind their team. However, if you can't pull that off, then go ahead and also run your flank in through garage. And what you can do instead is just have the flank as kind of a supportive force in garage with your combo. Even if you want, while your combo is distracting their combo here, the flank can walk past and get back here. If they're distracted enough, of course. But basically, the flank is just trying to have a supportive role. Like, if they see a spy uncloak, the flank will deal with that if they're there. Or if they see an opening and the enemy combo is easily distracted, then the flank will go ahead and try to take advantage of that. But there's not a lot flank can do on this point. Thankfully, this isn't that hard of a hold on this map. I think only I've ever really seen 2 really good holds on this point. It's not the best. Most people get a lot of time off of second and a lot of time off of last. Third, not the best. But anyway, defending third is very simple. You basically want to have the majority of your team up on this hill. Your demo is going to be concentrating on this side a lot. Meanwhile, your sniper, your soldier, your scout are going to be concentrating on this middle area. and on the flank route, because if you're looking there and you see their flank going through that door, you can easily cut them off at the pass right over here. And that really only takes a soldier. If you have a soldier standing there waiting for them to be there, some rocket spam will do wonders. And also the scout can go ahead and be pretty up close, like right here. If the scout's close enough, he can use that geometry in this area to wait for them to push the cart past a certain point and then get a pick or two. But yeah, the sniper, the soldier, and the scout are the ones who are going to be the primary watchers of this main choke. Meanwhile, the demo and the heavy are going to be the primary watchers of garage. And that's pretty much the only routes the other team can take. Actually, I think those are exactly the only routes. They can really only come in through this door or through somewhere in the choke. Third can be effective if you can do it right. The only problem with third is that if anyone gets distracted, then you lose the hold. Almost every time. Also, to your benefit, even if they push the cart up to here, there's a huge hill here. And your spawn is right out of this door right here. So, as long as you have enough spawns, you can just drop down from here and then start spamming on the hill. But you just need to be wary about any players that are getting overly aggressive while they're pushing. Now, the last thing to note about this map is the last push. Let's talk about last push and last hold. So last push, typically the flank will be going through the route that I'm in right now. This is a one-way gate. So they're going to want to usually come out through that gate or take a route somewhere through main to get over here. And they're going to be through flank. This, very simply, is flank. It's just the easiest for flank to maneuver because there's so many of these vertical, what are they called? Kind of like cliffs, where... Ledges, there we go. There's so many ledges that are this steep that really the soldier and the scout are the ones that have the easiest time navigating this terrain. Here's a drop down right here that'll get you to the flank end. So if you guys are having trouble making it through around the left side over here, flank can always drop down through here and then make it through here instead. That's totally viable.
Don't cap third.
A lot of people don't.
Don't cap third.
A lot of people don't check that. Now, so yeah, this left side, very easy route, and going from under here, no players even see you until you, round the corner here. So there's no need for the flank to even really be seen until they're at last. So going all the way through the far left. The flank can get up in through here, and they're right here. Right next to the sentry placements, right next to the combo, right next to a spawn. The flank can easily get around their entire team and just start picking them off one by one. That's especially valuable if the sentry is not going down for your team when you're pushing, because then the soldier can just rotate out here with a direct hit and probably take it down. Now, use it sparingly also, because once you start using it too much, their team is definitely going to be defending that. And of course, if your team is just pushing in, and what I was saying is, if your combo is fighting from main, and your flank is near the flank route, then they can easily just rotate and go in through main and have a full supportive push into the offensive team. Something that I haven't seen a lot of pyros do is have the offensive pyro use this pit to their advantage. Because when you're offending and you're pushing the cart, like their team is coming down onto you a lot of the time, or jumping onto the cart. If their team is jumping onto the cart and you're close by and you're an offensive pyro, you can blast them back into this pit. I've only seen 2 pyros take advantage of that, and that's like, I don't know, that seems like a very valuable thing. So pyros, keep your eyes open for any players that jump onto the cart or onto your combo while you guys are pushing into this last onto this last ramp, because this ramp can be deceptively difficult to get over if enemy players keep denying the cart from moving up. But if the pyro continues to blast players into the pit, then it makes that a lot easier of a job for your combo. Other things, rounding this corner is probably a pretty bad idea almost all the time. The sniper can watch you from all the way back there, and it's right next to his spawn, so chances are he's gonna be watching you from all the way back there. This sightline is humongous. Even if you're way back here, he can snipe you. Back here, he can still see the edge of your hitbox. This is a big area. A good place to mark off the sightline is with these pipes right here. Basically, if you are on the pipes or past the pipes, the sniper can see you, and you're probably gonna die. That being said, it isn't wise to be scared while pushing in, just because once you have an opening on the last, you should take that opening, because chances are you're not going to have that opening for very long. It's kind of like Borneo. In Borneo, if you don't have an opening, then it's near impossible to push into last, because the spawn is right next to last. So Borneo, people spawn and they're literally right there ready to defend the cart, which is why having an opening is important, and keeping an opening is important as well. This last works very similarly in that the spawn is extremely close. So let's say you're the offensive team and you're pushing into last, and you kill the heavy and the medic. Okay, well, if you don't take advantage of that, just because the demo is up and the sniper is up, then chances are the heavy and the medic are just going to respawn, and you're going to have a hard time pushing this point. Because the heavy doesn't have to walk. Usually, that would be a huge downside for the team, because they're not going to have heals for a very long time, and they're not going to have a heavy for a very long time. But the spawn is close enough to where the medic can basically immediately be healing his team, and the heavy can immediately be supporting his demo. So, don't take openings lightly on last. Call every kill and call every death your team has. Because if you have numbers, it's usually a good idea to push unless the other team has uber advantage. I say that because if the defending team has uber advantage and they're up close, like usually defending teams are, what's going to end up happening is you're going to go in and they're just going to uber on top of you, right here, right in front of you, and once that happens, basically anyone who you can't uber out as the offensive team is gonna die. This stretch is deceptively a lot longer than it looks, and it's also downhill, so it's very easy to get spammed out, and even if you do end up rounding the corner, it's very easy for the other team to chase you because of how wide these hallways are. So make sure that the other team doesn't have uber advantage and a combo up. If the demo's dead and the heavy's dead and they have uber advantage, no one fucking cares. The pyro's not going to take out your entire combo. But if their combo's up and they have uber advantage, don't push into last. That would be a grave mistake. Just wait to have, and then you can go ahead and try when you get another opening. Now, speaking of pushing and flank, the sniper is the other person that goes through a flank route often, just because standing from here and looking through this doorway is a really good sightline for your pushing sniper. That being said, if the sniper wants to get into this position, he's going to need some support from the flank. So flank, make sure that the sniper can get into position and make sure that he can get an important pick-off or do whatever his objective is to do before you leave him and you decide to go and flank. You guys aren't going to get spammed out from here, and it's better to support your sniper and have him take out their sniper or their medic or their demo, or just have their combo back off into their spawn because they don't know what to do. Flank should be protecting the sniper at least until the sniper says, okay, I got who I wanted to get. Let the sniper get a pick, then you can go ahead and leave him alone. Defending. Those are the basics of pushing in with the combo and with the support classes. Defending is a little bit different. When you defend, like I said, the combo can typically be pretty up close. Now, the downside to this is that, again, that sniper can be right in front of you, and so can their flank. The soldier can get right up close to you right there with a direct hit and do a number on your combo. So the way to combat that is not only to have your pyro like nearby and ready to reflect spam and deal with spies that might get up on this this platform up here and come down onto your combo. Keep that in mind, pyro. But to combat that sniper, you should have your sniper watching probably not on this side. A lot of snipers like standing back here because, like I said, you can see all the way back to the pipe. And that is a little bit better of a sightline, admittedly. However, I would sacrifice this sightline to be able to stand a little closer this way as a sniper. The reason being is if you're this close to the far right side as you're defending as a sniper, a soldier can literally walk around the corner and kill you, or a scout can do the same. The soldier and the scout can't even be spammed out by your combo or really even seen that well until they get past these crates, and if you're standing right here as a sniper, you're going to die a lot to their flank if they decide to do that. Standing back here allows you to be behind the sentry, it allows you to deny this sniper sightline all the way back there, and it allows you to support your combo if their combo decides to round that corner, albeit not as much if you were supporting your combo from here watching those pipes. Of course, you can rotate to the pipes, say if their sniper's down or if their flank is having trouble getting to you, and then maybe get a cheeky pick on the medic or something. But I do think that this positioning for sniper is significantly better than the other one, just because you can deny so much more and you're so much safer as a sniper on last. Now, the sentry can go in a variety of places, and I've seen engineers experiment with this a lot. The basic thing to remember is, if your sentry goes down, don't rebuild it in the exact same place as it went down in, because that means that the other team figured out exactly the way your sentry can go down. Second, take advantage of the angles. There's a lot of angles, and if you were to put, say, your sentry here, it's a big difference from putting your sentry here. And that may only look like a few feet, but the truth of it is, if it's this close to the crate, their flank can basically be right up on the sentry before it even starts shooting them. Whereas if it's on the other side, their flank is going to be seen by the sentry as soon as they round this corner. And that makes a big difference. So, when you're building sentries, think of this geometry. On top of this crate has been something, actually, I don't know if I saw it on top of this crate or on top of something else, but I saw it like on a spot like that I thought was extremely effective, but only for a while. The problem with building your sentry high up is that it's not as accessible, and so it's easier to take down by, say, sniper spam that might be coming from that area. The important thing about defending this last point is to call if any of your players, first of all, they shouldn't be calling. First of all, they shouldn't be dying. And second of all, to call where their sniper is, to be able to counter-snipe him and to avoid him, and to call what Ubers... to call the Ubers for both teams. Make sure you know if they have an advantage, and if they do have an advantage, you probably don't want your combo to be so far up. It's just, well, it's not just as effective, but it's pretty effective to have your heavy standing or your demo standing up here while they Uber in around the corner, because it's going to take them a little bit before they get back here. Given you have your sentry, you probably have a sticky trap somewhere there. So if they have big Uber advantage, don't be afraid to give them a little space to use the first 2 to 3 seconds of their Uber to try and get at you. I've seen a lot of teams defend very effectively that way. The important thing is to not die, because if your team stays alive through their Uber and then you can fight them off of the cart as it's rounding this corner, they still need to climb this ramp right here. And this ramp can make it very tricky for a team if they die on an Uber push. Teams don't Uber this close to the cart. If they do, then you've done a poor job at defending. Teams Uber way back here because they don't want to be sniped by the sniper. So take advantage of that and know that if they're Ubering from back here, they're going to waste their first couple of seconds of Uber on that, and you can kind of alleviate the effectiveness of an Uber advantage for the other team if you guys are keeping track of, okay, when are they going to Uber, and also how far back am I holding, how far forward am I holding. Positioning is everything on this last. I can't say that enough. The slightest movement in your positioning changes the angles of what can hit you and what can't hit you a lot. So, make sure you're keeping the angles in mind, make sure you're keeping the Ubers in mind, and make sure you call the sniper. The spy, oddly enough, isn't as effective on this point. I have yet to see a single spy that can actually do a lot of work when pushing into this point, or actually when defending this point. But, you know, that might change as people get to know the map a little more, and they play it a little less safe.
Stop killing me.